This is God's idea. It's not my idea. This ministry does not belong to Millard Fuller. It doesn't belong to any individual. It's so much bigger than me. It's so much bigger than all of us together. This is nothing less than an incarnation of God's love. Jesus himself said, I was a stranger and you invited me in. And inasmuch as you do it to one of the least, you do it to me. So we are just building houses and inviting people in.
It's a great way to express love and concern for your neighbor. If a person is a professing Christian, you know, that gives them an outlet to put their faith and love in action. And it really is gratifying. It's rewarding. It's fulfilling to be able to go out and help people, somebody that you don't even know.
The tap root of Habitat for Humanity is at Cornelia Farm, about 9 miles southwest of Americus. And it was there with Clarence Jordan, his wife Florence, and some other people that we began a ministry in 1968 called Cornelia Partners. And one part of that ministry was partnership housing. And Linda and I worked there with Clarence Jordan until his untimely death on October 29, 1969. But Linda and I and others continued the work until 1973, when Linda and I left Cornelia with our 4 children and moved to Zaire in Africa to build houses with the Church of Christ of Zaire. So we spent exactly 3 years in Zaire and came back. Linda and I returned to Zaire in 1995 to participate in the 20th anniversary celebration. We saw a lot of old friends. We made a lot of new friends. And one of the most joyful things was seeing that in spite of this incredible economy of that country, which is just devastating, and politics, which are just in turmoil, they've kept building houses. But from the beginning, we had a larger vision. And so we have consistently tried to expand it. And as the years have gone by, the vision has become clearer and it has become bigger. The vision now of Habitat for Humanity, indeed the goal now of Habitat for Humanity, is a world with no shacks. In fact, that's a battle cry. That is a slogan, that is a motto of Habitat for Humanity. No more shacks. No homeless people. Everybody in at least a simple, decent place to live. And that is literally everybody. Everybody in Americus, Georgia. Everybody in Birmingham, Alabama. Everybody in New York City. Everybody in Kinshasa, Zaire. Everybody in London, England. We intend to pursue this vision to eliminate poverty, housing, and homelessness.
I've worked right along with Millard in the office, and all the people that have come over the years, some just for a few days, some for a few years. It's just been incredible to see how this ministry has developed.
Jimmy Carter and his wife Rosalind got involved with us in 1984. As a former president, the press shows up when he shows up, and the people in this country had never seen a former president put on his work clothes and go spend the night in a slum house in a poor section of New York City or a slum section of Chicago. It was big-time news. So President Carter's involvement has helped propel the work forward in a very strong way.
First couple of years, it was mostly men working on the construction site. But I think pretty much what changed that was when Jimmy and Rosalind Carter got involved, and we started doing the Jimmy Carter Work Projects every year. Even from the very beginning, we had almost as many women as men working on the building site. We have houses totally built by women. There must be at least 50 or 60 homes that have been built totally by women.
Other people who are well known have been involved, and they have been helpful.
Back up, please. Just remember, you quick if you bought it.
people like Newt Gingrich, people like Paul Newman, people like President Clinton and his wife Hillary, and Albert Gore and his wife, and Gerald Ford, and quite a number of other better-known persons have said, I like Habitat for Humanity. That's been helpful for them to publicly come out and drive nails and saw boards and get behind this idea.
Millard, as you know, comes up with a lot of crazy ideas, and he has really caused us to stretch a lot, but that's why we've been growing, I think, at such a fast rate.
I have always felt that Habitat for Humanity was going to grow. I always had the vision that it would become a large ministry. But what has surprised me over the years is how Habitat for Humanity seems to take root and grow everywhere. No matter where it's planted, it grows.
In about 1987, when Habitat for Humanity was 11 years old, that Dr. Gary Cook at Baylor University came up with the idea of students helping to build houses and also help with fundraising. And so we started this program called Campus Chapters, which encouraged students to get involved. And it's just been one of our fastest growing programs.
And it is very important, this student program, because, in fact, I say that the Campus Chapters program of Habitat for Humanity is the most important program in Habitat. And I say that because when you get young people to buy into the vision, to become a part of the vision of Habitat for Humanity, when they are 18 years old, or 19 years old, or 20 years old, they will be actively involved in this ministry for the next 50 years, for the next half century, and more.
I think it's just going to keep on growing fast, and it needs to. If we have a goal to eliminate poverty housing, we're going to need thousands of more people, millions of more dollars, everybody involved in buying into this goal of everyone needing a simple and decent house to live in.
I remember very well one family that received one of the early houses. They moved in from a rural area, and when they first came to Americus, there was no house, and they literally moved under somebody else's house. They were living in the dirt under a friend's house. They finally got into an old ramshackle shack, so at least they were up off the ground, but it had no toilet facility. I went over to their house. They had no table. They had no chairs. They were eating their meals on the floor with their hands. And Habitat built a house literally right behind this old shack and tore the shack down. And I was over there not too many days after this family moved into their new house with some visitors. And I walked in totally unrehearsed, and I said to this woman, Annie, you're in your new house now, and what is it about your new house that means the most to you? And without any hesitation, she said, my boys are no longer ashamed for their friends to know where we live. And I thought that was very telling and very powerful.
Even though Millard and I, were there at the very beginning, we feel like we just have such a small part of it now. But there's just so many thousands of other people that are working diligently on a daily basis that are helping this ministry to grow. And this will build the foundation for the expanding and the growth in the years to come.
The volunteer component of Habitat for Humanity is the backbone of this ministry. Literally hundreds of thousands of volunteers have contributed and are still contributing to this ministry. This ministry couldn't function without the volunteers.
I can't imagine my life without Habitat for Humanity. We've been doing this now for over 20 years.
The mission of Habitat for Humanity is to build houses, to renovate houses, to create viable communities so that people who are made in the image of God, and that's the whole crowd of humanity, can become all that God intended. So Habitat for Humanity is trying to create habitat a good habitat, a viable habitat for human beings to be able to live and grow into all that God intended.
A 1,000 habitat volunteers.
The miracle has begun.
This illustrates that we do have a reach beyond the Christian Brotherhood. We also reach other folks, regardless of their beliefs.
Habitat will be a long-term success because it's got a lot of heart.
Show people what they actually look like.
Celebrating and thanking God for the 2 decades we've had, and asking for guidance to continue on to the end of the decade, on to the end of the century and beyond.